Grab your coffee. We're going to get started here in just a sec. Test. All righty. We're going to get started here. We got a busy morning going on. We actually have 4 presenters this morning. We're going to sneak one in before the Wiley fellows go. Chairs and that table right there. Everybody doing? Happy Wednesday. Feels like a Monday. At least to me. I don't know. What I'm saying is my Monday. How's life? People doing all right? I'm like 14 days in the cold. It's like I'm finally on the other side of it, but I think it's been dragging on. Like it's been making the rounds. Okay, well, welcome to 1MC. Whose first time is it to 1MC? A couple of new faces. Welcome. What brings y'all to 1MC? Awesome. Thanks, Kit. Sorry earlier. We do have community guidelines, and one of them is bring a friend. So thanks, Kit, for doing that. Yeah. What brings you? A friend? Yeah. All right. And you're fairly new too. So like, thanks. Thanks for being here. What about you all? First time? Oh, okay. How's the online experience? How's the miingl? Little touchy sometimes? Okay. Well, how many people we got online today, Jake? 2 so far? That's a little early. Those online people seem to drag their feet a little bit. Well, welcome. Welcome to 1 Million Cups if you're new. My name's Robert, and we've been hosting this event for over a decade throughout Salt Lake City. So we have been hosting a chapter since 1 Million Cups rolled these things out. It's a beta program when we were doing it. And now there's like 120 of these across the country. So the idea is on a Wednesday morning, if you're somewhere and you've got a business, you're an entrepreneur, you need a little help or support, you can stop in on a Wednesday morning at 9 a.m., get a cup of coffee, meet some folks, hear about their businesses, so you can share yours. So each week, a normal week at 1 Million Cups is us having 2 businesses present their ideas. And it's different than a pitch, the way we talk about it. Each community is a little different. Currently in Utah, there's 2. There's one here and there's one in Orem at the SBDC at UVU. And the idea is that it's a little bit like AA for entrepreneurs. Like entrepreneurship can be hard and lonely. So the idea is it doesn't have to be. So you tell people essentially who you are, what you're working on, how you make money, what's working about it, what's not. So there are some investors off and on. I've been a former venture investor. I still invest in a few things, but I don't write many checks, especially not at early stages like this. So if you come to raise money, although it's happened based on what Riley said last time he met somebody that invested in his business, it happens, but it's not the point. So if that's why you're here, it's okay. We'll break that out of you. It's mostly about connecting, and right, money is just one resource, and it's often not the most helpful one. In fact, oftentimes when I write checks to people, it makes problems worse, not better. I help people even at $5 and $10 million to raise money, and especially the inventory ones, like that problem only gets worse as you get bigger, not less worse. So money is not the only resource. And so hopefully here, the idea is to help crowdsource and create some more resources through network. So Our loose rules are to be friendly and kind, right? So ask questions. Sometimes being too kind by asking not hard questions isn't actually kind. It's the opposite. So when somebody's presenting, if you don't know what's going on, ask a good hard question, but do it in a way that is easy to receive, right? So it's hard to be upfront sometimes. I've been doing it a long time, so I'm a little used to it. Take turns. That's another big one for community guidelines. So usually we do pretty well on that stuff. Before we get started, I want to thank sponsors, and then also one thing we started a while ago was celebrating and complaining. So oftentimes, especially as entrepreneurs, we don't tell people about the good stuff that happens, which is a shame because we got to celebrate, and sometimes we got to take those wins. And then also sometimes it's hard, and we keep that stuff inside too. So I do some executive coaching, and like I said, I've invested. So I found oftentimes that by sharing that stuff, we realize we're not alone, and other people going through stuff, and then it's a great way to actually connect and learn and relate to other people. So, first, our sponsors. Anthony from Underbelly is here today. Anthony's in the back sipping coffee. He's often trying to hide, but Underbelly's been having us at this great space. So let's give him a big round of applause. This is our second to last week here. Next week will be our last week, and then we're going to move across the street to Cucina Toscana. I've been practicing saying that. I don't know why it's hard for me, but it is. So you won't have to go far. I'll put up a map next week, but yeah. So Anthony, you can walk over. You can still come. Anthony has subleased his space to a mutual friend, a friend of Salt Lake's. Everybody probably knows Earl Foote around here, but Nexus IT is moving in. So Earl said he'd love to have us, but he already has so many people. They're going to be filling the space to the brim already. So they were sad to see us go, but that's business sometimes, right? You got to do stuff that works for you. So thanks for having us. Anthony shows up, he opens, he helps me carry chairs, he makes stuff. So really grateful for your friendship and for having us here. So thank you to Anthony and the Underbelly team. Yeah. And if you don't know, they do fractional design and marketing, so websites, videos, brand work, right? If your brand sucks, he's been working on a package for startups, so it can be fractional, so you don't have to hire a CMO or do all that stuff. So if you have a bad brand or bad website and need a little help and don't have the biggest budget in the world, but could put some money down and pay it over time and get the work done kind of on an as-needed basis, Underbelly is a great resource for that. So thank you guys for having us. And then Moda, Steve, you here? Steve was here earlier. There he is. You want to talk about Moda? We just missed, if you didn't file your taxes, if you have a business and you didn't file last week on Friday, because I did mine on Friday, then you missed it.
Yeah, so my name's Steve Femino. I work with startups on finance and fundraising. This is my buddy's company, Moda Financial. He's a CPA. They've worked with big four accounting firms for a long time. Saw a gap in the kind of personal and business taxes space as well as bookkeeping. I think it's about 75% of all small, medium-sized CPA firms will go out of business in the next 10 to 15 years, and that's not because they're not good businesses, because most of those people are retiring. So Rob actually got it good last week. If your CPA is just okay, check these guys out. Young guys, they're just trying to build a book of business. Again, most CPAs that I've used, they've been, okay. I pay them some money, saves me some time, but it doesn't seem like they make a difference on my taxes. So even if you missed the business deadline last Friday, they can still, get the extension for you, but also for your personal taxes, they can take care of that as well. What they're trying to build out is a longer term bookkeeping business that also does taxes. So they could probably help you out a little bit with this year's taxes in terms of, finding some savings here and there, but also they're looking to be a good tax advisor where you can have conversations with them once a week, once a month, what have you, on a good strategy for 2024. So when it comes this time next year, you'll be able to get a much larger return and be able to optimize your business. So they don't charge egregious rates. One of the things that they're trying to do for everyone is if you have a small business or a startup or what have you, if you do your business taxes through them or your accounting through them, they'll usually, as long as you're not the most complex person in the world, do your personal taxes as well. They've already got all your information in there. It's like 2 clicks of a button. So they won't even charge you for that. So check them out. They're just happy to sponsor coffee and get their name out there. But if you have any questions, feel free to come ask me. Again, this is me not touting my business. This is just a good friend of mine trying to start his. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Steve. And every little bit helps. So thanks for good time to get a CPA in here, March, to pay for some coffee. So thanks to those guys. The miingl, Jake runs a miingl. He's in the back. He's been doing all sorts of mingles. He did fuck up nights the other day. He's been doing all sorts of events. So if you can't make it in person, especially if you're a YLA fellow, you won't be able to come at some point. You can always hop back online and check us out and join virtually. So if you don't know miingl, check it out. Jake's been in all sorts of pitch competitions and things lately and going well. Plenty of seats up front. Don't be scared. Some in the middle. Coffee. Okay, well, our first presenter is Mike. Mike has been an alumni of 1MC. He's presented his other books and things. So he's getting ready to launch a Kickstarter. He's got a publishing group. So let's give Mike a big round of applause.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, wait, let me do one.
Okay, go ahead.
I forgot I was going to transition. One other thing. I had it all teed up. I just have not had enough coffee. Our friend Rod runs the camera. And for those that have been around for a while, know Rod. He hasn't been here for a couple weeks. He had been battling a sinus infection. And turns out the sinus infection turned into a brain infection. So he got bacteria and it transitioned between the two. Cool. And Jake put up a QR code for that. So turns out it turned into a brain infection. And so Rod's been in the hospital for several weeks now. He's had multiple surgeries and he's been in the ICU. Mike said that he talked to his son and he will be out of the ICU maybe today or tomorrow. So he's got quite a road to recovery still. And it's not easy and it's kind of crazy because Rod was complaining about the pain and I get sinus infections. I'm a little stuffed up right now. And so we talked about it and was giving him all sorts of advice and it wasn't helpful because it was something significantly more serious than just a sinus issue. So if you're interested, no obligation, I'm going to donate, but it's going to be a long road for Rod, it sounds like. So just wanted to give you guys an update and let you know and maybe keep them in your thoughts. But life is short and you never know what's going to happen. So I've sent Rod a couple notes and it seems like they're making the best of the situation. So thanks. All right. Sorry, Mike. Sorry to bring it down before we bring it up.
No. I really want, Rod and I have been friends since BYU. I met Rod in grad school when we were both in a film program together. And we've done some little projects together over the years, and he's a good friend. And it was weird that the fact that he's been in ICU for more than 10 days now, and hopefully he gets out either today or tomorrow, and then he's going to be in rehabilitation for about 4 weeks. But his son told me go ahead and tell everybody what's going on with him and everything. And he's a good guy, and you've probably seen him in the back here if you've been here at all before. And he's been filming this for a long time, so we miss him. Anyway, one of the things that Rod has helped me with is my little books. He's done my videos until this last one. So this one I did with my my son-in-law. I was going to launch this Kickstarter project here at 1 Million Cups this morning, but instead I just launched it last night, and because my funding goal is so low, it worked out pretty good. Anyway, I want to first give you a little history about me. I was born at a very, very young age, if you can believe that. So, grew up in Southern California and did the whole little thing. And I've always liked books since my aunt, who was only 10 years older than me, was reading to me when she was like 15 and I was 5, and we'd read Dr. Seuss books together. And I thought that was kind of fun. And I always wanted to write a children's book. In fact, I wrote some poems that I thought could be children's books back when I was in high school, mainly for my little brother, who was 11 years younger than me. And you know, I didn't think much of it. Then I met a guy named Val Bagley at a trade show, and he was called the cartoonist guy. And I loved his cartoon work and his illustrations and stuff. And so I showed him one of my poems, and he thought that was kind of cute. And he did some sketches for one of my books, my first book, which is called, when we were talking about it, it was called A Pair of Pears. But it became this little book called Hear What's Here. And if the other Oz was here, he always likes to hear me recite it. I'm not going to recite it today. I'll give you a little bit of it, though. It goes, can you find a pair of pears? Do you see the sea? Would you like to stare at stairs or maybe be a bee? And it goes on like that, and it's kind of a cute little book. And, you know, because my dad's 95, so I'll tell you, it was 5 years ago. I was getting ready to go down to my dad's 90th birthday party down in California, and he asked me to read a book because he was in the Korean War, and he wanted me to read this book. And before I went down to his party, and I was reading it, but gosh, it was giving me nightmares, literally nightmares. And I wanted to just listen to an audio cassette or an audio CD of it instead. So I went to the library and I asked them, and they were working on it. And I went back to see if it was there, because they said they were going to get it in. And as I was sitting waiting to find out if it had arrived, I looked to the left of me, and there was a book that said, Yoga for Old People. Okay. Then Yoga for Babies. And over here, I kid you not, was Yoga for Dogs. And I thought, if these are the kind of books that we have in the library right now that we're promoting, maybe it's time to do that book that Val and I talked about so long ago. And so I called him up before I got even out of the building, and I said, hey, I'm thinking about doing that Pair of Pears books. Are you in? And he said, I'm in if you get it funded. Yeah. And so I did a Kickstarter for it, and it got funded, and that was the first little, at the age of 66, that's when I did my first kid book. I'd done some other projects. I'd done some games and other things before, but that was my first kid book, Hear What's Here. It's gone into a second printing. Here in Utah alone, I've sold more than 4,000 copies. I guess it's getting close to 5,000 copies of it. And that caused me to do a second book, which is right over here, Elephant Glue. My wife likes that one better. She says it has a storyline. I say it has a punchline. It's just a fun little book, too. But after long work, finally got him into Barnes & Noble, been doing book signings. Been one of the thrills of my life is to do book signings and see little kids kind of get excited about it and stuff like that, and interact with little kids. So those were easy ones, because those were just poems I wrote, and Val did the illustrations for them. This book that I'm working on right now, well, it's done, basically. This is the new book. This is my dad joke book, Whatever Floats Your Goat, okay? And this is an advanced copy of it. And I decided to do another Kickstarter again, but this one's taken more time than the other ones, just because I decided to do it when I was working at Channel 4. And what happened was the floor manager and I used to tell dad jokes to each other almost every morning, you know. And I heard one. We'd always try to top each other with them. I heard one that said, what's the difference between a well-dressed man on a bicycle and a poorly dressed man on a unicycle? Anyone? Almost a wheel, but it's more a tire. And so I thought that was a really good one, and that was the catalyst of why I wanted to do this. Now I needed to make it different. So the way I made it different is I took some dad jokes and I put them in poetry form again. And man, I'm not going to be able to show this very well. Oh, I know. Let's scroll up. Can we scroll up a little bit? I'll show you the first couple of dad jokes. Yeah, keep going. And right there, the first one, if you can see that, says, why did the chicken cross the playground? To get to the other slide. Yes, this is how it's going down, so hang on for the ride. And then the next one, if you'll scroll down some more. What has more lives than a cat? At least that's what they say. A bullfrog, because it's a fact. They croak each and every day. And down one more. Think of a riddle your gramps would tell about a kid out on a boat. And the punchline he would sell, whatever floats your goat. It goes on for a little while longer. I can read the rest of it because it's so short. The first part is just like a regular children's picture book. It just rhymes. And then it stops rhyming and we go on to a bunch of one-liners and stuff like that. Could you scroll down a little bit more, please, on that page? Yep. Like, how does a penguin build its house? He glues it together. And another one right there, right there. Why do bees have sticky, some of them don't have illustrations. Why do bees have sticky hair? Because they use honeycombs. Why did the kid want a phone charger for his milk? Because the milk was at 2%. Why do flamingos stand on one leg? Because if they lifted both, they'd fall. Anyway, those are just some of the things in the book. I wanted a clean book of jokes that kids could read with dad or grandpa or their grandparents, and that's where the book came from. And I'm doing it on Kickstarter. How many people are familiar with Kickstarter? By raise of hands, okay. How many people have backed a Kickstarter project before? Okay, you know how easy it is to back them and everything, and you know a little bit about the algorithms too. It's all about, if you want to get to the top of the Kickstarter thing, I purposely put a very small funding goal. This book is being done whether I make it on Kickstarter or not, because I have a market for it, hopefully at Barnes & Noble, if I can get back in there again. And with other bookstores and stuff, I just feel confident I can sell it. And so my funding goal was only $222. I passed that up last night, okay? And so now, the reason I want to tell you guys about this, and then I'm going to open this up for questions, is I want to make this book available to as many little kids and stuff. One of the cool things about, as I've been researching this over the last little while, is that I have found that kids that are exposed, and there's studies about this in Wall Street Journal and in the British Psychological Society papers, which says that little kids who are exposed to dad jokes have better communication skills, okay, and have an overall higher intellect. And the reason for that is when little kids don't know a word like, why was that joke about the croak, the bullfrog, why was that funny? Because they might only know croak as relating to, frogs. Well, it was funny because it also means they die. Oh, okay. So they're being inquisitive and they're asking questions and and that continues throughout their life. So it's a good thing to do. So dad jokes can actually be an indicator of higher performance and stuff like that. And I think I'm getting close to my end. I will wrap it up right now. I will ask you to back my Kickstarter project. Please go to my Facebook page, which is Happy Valley Publishers on Facebook. I don't want you to buy the book. If you want to buy the book and you come here regularly, I'll be selling the books when I get them. But what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to back it for $2.25. And the reason that is that would be a code that $2.25 came from 1 million cups. And then when I get the books, if you want to buy them, because I'll be selling them for 18, 19 bucks when they come out. And I'll have to for the first year because that's what I always do. I don't undercut the stores. But I'll sell them, I'll sell it to you for an additional $15 because you backed the Kickstarter project, if that makes sense. Any quick questions? Because I know I talk way too much. And I'm sorry I'm so tired. My smoke alarm went off this morning at 5 a.m. I'm not a very handy guy. At 5:30, I finally figured it out. It was my smoke alarm and not something else. I watched 5 YouTube videos on how to disarm the stupid thing. So, please.
Hey, congratulations on following your heart.
Thank you.
It's awesome. And also for having the courage to present it and go forward with it. I'm just curious, with a project like this, the cost of the books, what is the order quantity and
I'm doing 2,500 books. Okay, they're already. I just got word that they're already printed. They're being shipped this week to me. I'll have them in time for Father's Day, so I'll be shipping them out. They should be here in about 45 days, and I'll be shipping them out for the Kickstarter people and bring them to sell here and other networking groups before Father's Day.
So you
Self-publishing. Landed cost is going to be, it depends on how you figure it out. Are you going to put in the artist and the layout person and all that stuff? It's around $6. $6 or $7.
Hello, you are
Yes.
actually living one of the dreams I have in the next chapter of my life.
Cool.
I started off as a elementary school teacher, so you're speaking my language.
All right.
Now I'm a software engineer. Anyway, doesn't matter. What matters is I have a suggestion.
Yes.
When I was teaching here in Guadalupe schools, which is a charter school,
Uh-huh.
and my students were from other languages.
Yes.
I could see the teachers using this like wildfire. I also know it's very hard to get into schools.
Yes.
However, targeting some of the schools that have funding, it could be, Christmas presents or, winter holiday presents for the teachers. But that language that you're getting into is so needed for those children and families that are learning
Thank you.
English.
Thank you. Yes.
This is phenomenal.
When I do the book signings at Barnes & Noble, a lot of people, the two categories that I know a lot is second and third grade teachers like to buy my Hear What's Here book because it's a great introduction to homophones. And then the other thing is that English is a second language people. I have that. A lot of people just buy the book for their mothers or fathers who have English as a second language because this is one of the hardest concepts about it. And this book continues with that a little bit more too. But I wanted a book also that wasn't restricted just to little kids. And I think this one will be, people your age will buy it for your dads and stuff like that. Or you might buy it just to read it with your kids. Please. It's been Barnes & Noble. And it's just in Utah, mainly. I mean, I've got them in a few other little stores, but just mainly Barnes & Noble. I have them in crazy places. I've got them in a auto repair shop, and different things. Just we're friends have put them in there. Red Balloon Toy Store has been a good one for me here. I just mainly focused in Utah. My game plan, and I never got to it, I'll have to come back some other time and talk about it. My game plan is to end up licensing this to a bigger publisher that can take it nationwide and do more with it. And by liking my Facebook page on Happy Valley Publishers, that'll help me with that transition. So please do that. And when you go to Happy Valley Publishers, you can also see my link and pledge a buck or two if you want to, or $2.25, and then I'll know you want to buy it.
There you go.
Thanks.
Well, Mike, here's your mug, and it sounds like the big ask is for folks to go to Happy Valley Publishers on Facebook.
Yes.
Give it a like. That'll make a big difference.
Give
for
it a
you.
like, and then also if you want to pledge $1 or $2, that'll help with the metrics for Kickstarter.
The acceleration part. Cool. All right, let's give Mike a big round of applause. Looked like we maybe had some more questions, so if you're going to stick around, Mike will be here. Check out his books. Thanks for coming. Congrats on the Kickstarter. We know launching and trying to get it all done at the same time is not an easy feat, so thanks for coming and sharing. Our next group is the Wiley Fellows. So I'm going to have Felicia come up and talk a little bit about Wiley and Utah Global Diplomacy, and I'll get the first presentation up on the website.
Thank you.
Of course.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. I'm Felicia Maxfield-Barrett. I'm the CEO of Utah Global Diplomacy. And I just realized that it was a year ago that I started coming to this weekly meetup because of our Young Leaders of the Americas initiative. So what we do as a nonprofit organization is we partner with the U.S. State Department to welcome business leaders, government officials, nonprofit leaders, faith leaders, teachers, journalists, to engage with our local community, to sit down, share ideas, best practices, and be able to create this global network around one handshake at a time, the idea that we all play a role in shaping foreign relations. We are very excited that we have our Young Leaders of the Americas initiative here. And if you will all just stand up for a second, not everybody's going to present this morning. If you're part of the Wiley crew, stand up. And I encourage everybody here to spend some time afterwards talking to these individuals. They're incredibly brilliant people, and we are very lucky to have them here. And the group will be here in Utah for about another 3 weeks. Yeah, they've been here for 1 week. Some of them experiencing snow for the first time. And I heard that they rented a Tesla and went up Big Cottonwood Canyon over the weekend. So I hope you all had fun. They're doing fellowships with other businesses to be able to scale up their businesses in their countries. So this morning we've got 3 people who will be presenting. Rafael from Brazil, and then we've got Juan Pablo from Colombia, and then Jean-Pierre from Jamaica, who will be presenting their businesses and pitching, because pitching is part of their program. And some of them may be invited to pitch on a national level when they go back to DC after the program. So with that.
Give it up to Rafael.
Thanks for the introduction, Felicia. So my name is Rafael. My company is Timberson, and this is my legacy. But first, I want to ask you 3 questions. It's like yes or no questions. So please raise your hand if when you go ride your car, you turn on the music. Next question. If you have a stressful day when you got at your house, you turn on the music or you watch TikTok, you watch videos. And now raise your hand if your music is an important part of your life. Do you know that are 430 million people around the world that music can't be a part of their lives just because of their condition? They don't hear. That's why I came here to talk to you. My business, Timberson, is a cell phone application available on Android that translates any kind of music into rhythmical vibrations. So in Brazil, we are teaching deaf children how to dance. We are teaching them how to play music instruments. And we even create a way for them to translate YouTube Music, Deezer, Spotify, Disney Plus, and even games like League of Legends Wild Rift in their own cell phone. And it's this legacy of mine, it's important to me because it was a game changer in my life. I became an entrepreneur because I saw that the deaf people, they were just like me, but in a different kind of problem. I was segregated when I was a child because of who I am, today, and they are segregated from society because of who they are. So every day I was learning how to be a better person, and with all the knowledge I created this app. Right now it's just an Android application, but I envision this to be a box of accessibility for every kind of disabilities that are happening. Because my dream is to make everyone in the world capable of listening, talking, and seeing. Right now, Timberstone is my first step. Is the step where I saw that to bring more accessibility, I have to bring fun to for their lives, and that's why I'm here. Right now, Timberstone, it's free on the Play Store, but we have a freemium model. In the next update, we are gonna have ads on it, and a small subscription of $3. This is our B2C way of doing things, the business for our business model. And I have been testing this in the Brazil, and here right now I'll be going to the School of Deaf and Blind tomorrow. They're gonna have a music therapy session with deaf people, deaf children, and I'll be part of this class using Timberstone to enhance the classes and tell children that they can literally feel the music in a different way. In Brazil, I have a partnership with a huge company that's growing. It's a music festival just for deaf people. It calls Deaf's Festival. And they are using Timberstone as their main way of translating the music into vibrations. Because if you compare Timberstone with the main competitors, there are the vibration vests. One vibration vest is like $250. If you compare to the earphones that vibrate to send the vibrations to your brain, it's around $80 to $120, and Timberstone is just $3 a month. That's a huge difference between these competitors to our company. And we are having a B2B model too for companies. If they want to bring more accessibility and well-being for your workers that are deaf, I can licensing the technology, so you can literally have this as a part of the benefits of your company. And right now, I'm here in the state of Utah, in Salt Lake City, to meet as much people as possible, because people are the ones who engage, people are the ones who move, people are the ones who inspire. So I'm here not only to help everybody, but I seek help. If you know anybody who works with accessibility, with deafness, or with AI, I would be glad to meet them, to do networking, to show my business, because I'm here to build a strong community. If I have this strong community, I can start my huge box, this legacy that is Timberstone. They're pretty quick because I'm an entrepreneur, so
There you go.
elevator speech. If you have any questions, please.
We got time for one or two.
We can talk in detail afterwards. I'm involved with many children organizations and children of special needs, so let's talk later.
Yes, please.
Where is your product manufactured?
My product is online.
Oh, it's online. Oh, the vest.
No, I know. The vest is just a competitor. It's just a
got it.
comparison between my Android application that costs $3 a month to $250 vibration vest for one of the companies I found.
Got it. Got it. Thank you.
So what's working for your business right now, and what's hard about it?
What's working right now is networking. The more people know about it, they see, they feel the products, they become literally like buyers in a split of a second.
Yeah.
That's working. And what's not working right now is I have
Or what's hard?
yeah, it's hard is the B2B model, because not every company has deafness or see a Timberstone as a benefit for the deaf people that work there. So it's hard to do the B2B model, but for companies that work already with deafness, it's way easier. For instance, the music therapy, it's a company. So they just saw Timberstone, they want to apply it. So if it's not a company that sees deafness as a priority, it's really hard to make business.
That makes sense. I know a few people in the space. What's Sean's product called? I can't think of it off the top of my head. Anybody know? The vibrational therapy. Did he? Yeah, I thought he did. So he's got like a vibrational acoustic huggable thing. Looks like a bean. And there's other folks in the space. So I'll try to connect you with a few. But I want to, if you've got more questions for Raphael, he'll be here. But you get your own little notebook, mostly because you
Thank
guys are
you.
visiting. And then you get your own magic mug. So I didn't say this with Mike because he's got a couple already. But what I like to say about these things is they're a little magical, partly because they're double wall insulated. They keep hot things hot, cold things cold. But more importantly, as entrepreneurs, sometimes asking for help is the hardest part. And so the question is, what can our community, what can the people in this room do that would make a difference for you, for Timberstone? How could we help?
You can connect with me on LinkedIn. This is gonna help. If you like use Timberstone and then my name Raphael, you find me on LinkedIn. If you know people about that works with deafness, disabilities, please feel free to connect me with them, or at least say, oh, I know this person. The name is John C.A. and you can literally go and talk to him. This is what I want. I need names. I need people so I can build the community.
Awesome. Let's give Raphael a big round of applause.
Thank you so much.
Well done, my friend. Well done. Okay, Juan Pablo is up next. We're going to plug it in and cross our fingers and hope it worked the first time. It takes like 30 seconds usually. Maybe. Perfect.
Good morning for everyone. My name is Juan Pablo. I come from Colombia. This is my first immersion in English, so I'm really happy to be with you here. Today I'm going to speak about a project that is called Emerge. We are bringing education in Colombia to pay tuition fees and try to go to the education to remote areas using insects. In Colombia we have a really big problem because we have many biodiversifies and things to make agricultures, but people don't have enough the knowledge and don't have access to those things. So people in the country, especially youth, doesn't have the opportunity to know how to solve their own problems in their communities. This is my history. I come from a rural area in Colombia, so thanks to many scholarships, I had the opportunity to know the skills and the basis to create a project that can allow us to have more tuition fees to cover education in Colombia. So we start to using an insect that is called Hermetia lucens, black soldier fly larvae, that allow us to go to those community and with their resources, community have the opportunity to bring educational opportunities to them. This is our problem in Colombia. Only 40% of the students have access to the university, so we need a program that we call Universidad en el Campo that allow us to have an academy of arts, and teachers from Caldas University are traveling to that village to give the skills needed to people to start new business there concerning to agricultural uses. This is another way that we find to have that tuition because some institutions are giving us the money, but we need to find people how to find their own resources. So we are teaching how using a black soldier fly larvae to produce bio inputs like protein, flour, oil, biofertilizer, and the larvae that can be used to feed pork, fish, and poultry too. Sorry for some of this, the next image that I will show because some people don't like probably the insects. But here, this is how we are working with that. We have a breeding unit at the University of Caldas. We are producing the eggs, and then with the community, we present to the grants. In this moment, we have $20,000 to start this project in one of the communities, an indigenous community, and we teach them how to create this new business, and this allows us to go to the Universidad en el Campo programs. This is our impact in these moments. We are transporting 36 tons of organic waste, especially pulp from the coffee pulp in Colombia. We are 80,000 students that are graduated. We are in 120 institutions, and we have almost 800 projects that will run out using organic waste and the bio inputs produced by MHA Lucens. This is one of the programs that I really love because it was when the people received their certificates. It's a moment so special for the university because people start to be part of the university. But we only don't need this kind of certificates. The idea is to maintain people of the rural areas. So we create a way to create this kind of project that allows people to stay at the territories about bringing new resources and new incomes. Another kind that I like this kind of project because they can use the fresh larvae, so they have the opportunity to produce food security on those communities because they don't have enough land in that, and they can use the larvae fresh to produce the poultry and to start new business concerning to chicken and all of that. This is our dream here at the YLA program. Our idea is to create an agri-industrial a machine or something that allows us to run and scaling and expansion our business, and we are asking for 100,000. It could be on a grant or something that can allow us to bring more educational opportunities to Colombia. Thank you so much.
Questions, comments? I know somebody here in the U.S. doing that as well. He used to sell cricket bars, but he's moved on to black soldier fly protein. So here in the U.S. So happy to connect you with Sean. So
Thank you so much.
That sounds tasty. By the way, again, you and I can talk offline, but the U.S. Department of Agriculture actually has a protocol for importing organic compost. So if you can get through that hurdle, you may have clients in the U.S.
Thank you so much.
what's hard about your business? What is working?
The most difficult part when I start this business is to find what I will want to bring. And my question was bring education opportunity to those community, especially to young people. Like me, for example, was difficult to find education in Colombia and to continue. And I know when people have some entrepreneurship skills, they have the opportunity to change the realities on their community. This is my big goal.
So I just want to make sure I understand the whole big picture here. So you guys are producing insect protein as a means for
Yes.
security? Is that better? Oh, there we go. Thought if I just yelled, everybody would hear. So you guys produce insect protein for food security for communities.
We have two programs. The first program is Universidad en el Campo program that is from Caldas University. We bring technical and technicians programs to the communities. But to pay the tuition fees, we find a way to produce insects to pay and to sell the bio inputs to have money for those covered tuition fees.
Okay, bio inputs being like the
It's one of the way that we find to gain money.
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I just want to make sure that I understood that. So are you guys set up as like a nonprofit accepting donations? Or are you guys like funding
Yes,
your?
I'm here doing my fellowship with Yowlink. So my idea is to learn more about NGOs.
Okay, gotcha. Cool. Yeah, I maybe just feedback on the presentation. Maybe boil it down to like those 3 points and hit those, because I got a little bit lost figuring out exactly what it was that, like, how you guys are making money, if you guys need to be making money, or if it is a nonprofit and you're trying to.
Thank you for that. We create this project using grants from the government of Colombia. The name is MinCiencias. They gave us money, we present the convocatoria, and we start to work with much communities. In this moment, we have one that is an indigenous community, but we have the programs financed by other institutions, private institutions in 120 college.
Awesome. I think that's amazing what you guys are doing.
Thank you.
And I've got several nonprofits, NGOs, and what I always like to say is even those need revenue, right? So making money is easier, even for education, right? You need money to come in to go out. So it's easier to generate revenue than it is to collect donations.
Thank you for that. And my idea is to, like here in the United States, I'm seeing many technologies. The idea is to bring technology to Colombia in order to produce more bio inputs and have more money to education. Thank you for that.
Of course. Well, Juan Pablo, you get your very own magic mug and notebook here, but just like I asked Rafael, what could our community do here that would make a difference for you? How could we help that would move the needle for what you're working on?
Thank you for this opportunity.
Yeah, of course. Thanks. Okay, Jean-Pierre, let's get you going. While we're doing that, it'll take a second, so he'll plug in. I did skip the celebrations and complaints, so one quick way to fill a little time while we're waiting for that is, anybody have something to celebrate or complain about?
So the AidentSafe app, the one I helped develop, just went monetized. We currently have 40 million users around the world, and version 8.0, the monetization one, just went live this week.
Mine's not business related, but for those that are regulars here, about 4 weeks ago, a celebration I had was I was getting a puppy. Complaint I have now is I have that puppy, and I really don't sleep that much.
Okay, last one.
I don't know if you heard, but someone said yoga for dogs. So, next week, next Thursday, I pick up finally my recumbent cycle from the VA. So, any cyclists out there, I need a partner.
Hey. Last one was Simon.
Oh, he's done.
For those that were here in December when I talked about launching a podcast, the first episodes go live next Tuesday. I have 6 of the first 8 episodes canned, so they are ready to launch after. I'm launching 2 episodes next week, and then the next 6 weeks after that, the first season will be coming out. The Common Cultures Podcast.
So Juan Pablo didn't totally understand the question. So before we give it to Jean-Pierre, the question, and maybe you guys' Spanish is ¿Cómo ayudar? So like to help. So how can todo para tú?
We can find, here I have my WhatsApp number or something, and I can speak with you in order to help. Probably with Yowling would be a good join here at Utah, I think.
Okay.
Yowling.
Okay. Great. All right. So Jean-Pierre, let's give Jean-Pierre a big round of applause.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. I am Jean-Pierre Kavanagh. I am the Chief Strategist and Director of Brand House Studio, and we're a branding, strategy, and design consultancy aiming to transform how small and medium business grow through delivering superior customer experiences. And you may ask, why superior customer experiences? Well, I'm from Jamaica, and for those of us who have been to Jamaica, you may have experienced wonderful customer service at the resorts. Us in Jamaica deal with Jamaican businesses, we tend to experience terrible customer experience. And most businesses get away with it because they're probably the only one in their field, they're probably the only one in your geographical location, but the face of business is changing. So as I said, we help small and medium-sized businesses deliver and grow. And what do we mean by business delivery? Well, all of us here who are in business, we're here to deliver. If you have a product, if you have a service, at the end of the day, your end user needs to get it, feel satisfied, and the hope is that they'll buy again. We don't necessarily want one-time buyers. There's a quote, don't deliver a product, deliver an experience. Because the truth is, especially nowadays, with how supply chains work, if you deliver a good product today, someone else can deliver that product as well. Someone else can probably find a way to deliver it cheaper, faster. So how do you build a moat? Our method is first research. We do brand research, we do market research, we do employee research. We do this because we have to understand first where you are. We don't make any assumptions when we work with a new client. We don't say, oh, we're the experts, so this is how you work. We do market research to understand what the trends are, and we also do employee research. Because your employees are usually, unless you're a solopreneur, they're the face of your customer delivery. And if they don't feel like a part of your brand, if they don't understand what the vision is, then it's very, very difficult for them to deliver. Everything then comes back to design. So we do wonderful graphic design, website design, billboards, ads, etc. But we also design processes. What we found is that one of the biggest challenges in business is communication. So some of the times, or most of the time when you're not growing in business, you as the CEO, you may have a wonderful vision. You may have internalized that vision, but if you ask the person who's at the front desk, they probably have no idea. You may have told them during hiring, but there's no reinforcement. You may even have goals for the week, and if you ask the CEO what the goals are, and if you ask customer service what the goals are, they're probably on completely different pages. We then refine. So we kind of go back a little bit to the research. After we refine, we execute. So we may update your branding because, of course, we're a branding agency. We will do some marketing, especially if you've lost a little bit of market share. We'll remind people that you are still the people who you said you were 5 years ago, 10 years ago, a year ago. We also invest very heavily in training because it's not enough for us to come in and be doing branding and marketing and not have your entire team on the same page. Again, we'd go back to the same issue that we're having at the beginning. We then repeat and we listen, because what I've learned is that business excellence, business growth is a function of doing the right things over and over and over again. Doing good business is basically just a churn. You find your method, you will refine your method, you talk to your customers. And what we encourage our clients to do is talk to one customer a week. Over the course of a year, you've spoken to 52 customers. That's 52 data points that you didn't have if you weren't doing it from the year before. So I have a little equation here, and it's called brand equal consistency times time. Because if it's not enough to do it once, it's not enough to do it twice. You have to do the right things over and over and over again. Strong and effective branding comes from business alignment. Now, I worked in marketing for a while. And even though we'll talk to people and they'll tell you, yeah, we know, we just want some marketing, just market this. And then I ask them, do your operations support this? If we do a promotion for you right now, will the people on the floor get it? Does everyone understand what it takes to do a promotion? Can your supply chain support that? Or do you just want to do marketing? Because the issue for marketing without business alignment is that you'll get market share, people will come in, they'll not get what you promised them and they won't come back. So you have to ensure that the vision of the CEO is aligned to operations, it's aligned to marketing, it's aligned to sales. And now why did we choose customer experience? Well, fundamentally, we're people selling to people. I honestly did not think that what we are doing now was something that was possible in Jamaica until I went to the UK. And I went to the UK and I realized that even the smallest mom and pop shop has strong and consistent branding, but not just strong and consistent branding, they have a strong and consistent experience. So someone will start a fruit stall today, and by next year they have a fruit shop. In 3 years they have 5. And if you go to any one of those locations, it's a very similar experience. And those things can only happen when you have business alignment. Not only that, one of the questions I get asked is like, what's the return on investment of this? You know, we're doing branding. Yes, it feels good. Yes, it sounds good. But there are clear links to great customer experiences and profit. In fact, businesses that deliver consistently great customer experiences tend to grow at about 80 to 100% more than businesses that don't. And that's information you can look up, S&P 500 comparisons. Empowering your employees to provide these experiences also drives employee retention. A lot of the times, employees tend to leave because the work that they do does not engage them. You come to work and you work for 2 hours and you're bored for 6. Now, if you're serving people, if you're in alignment with your purpose, then you will stay there. And I've seen companies where people, it's been their only job. So people say there are no jobs for life. I know people in jobs right now that have been in those jobs for 30 years and plan to stay there until retirement. It also is efficient cost-wise. It costs 1/5 of what it takes to acquire a customer to retain one. So why would you then spend more money in marketing when you could spend more money in retaining customers? And also, something that we should all know, the best marketing is word of mouth. Word of mouth lends you authenticity. It carries trust. It's also not you telling people that you're great. It's other people telling other people that you're great. And then again, small equation, profit equals delivering at margin, because folks, if we're not delivering at margin, we're not in business, to a large number of repeat customers. And something that even flips the idea of market share on its head is that you can have 20% of a market, and if you have that market coming to you 5 times for the week, even if someone has 80% of the market and they only come once a week, you're making more profit than they are. So something I want to leave you guys with, brand isn't who you say you are. Brand is who they say you are. They being your customers, people in your community. And then I added something to this. I said, the safest bet when branding, if they have to say who you are, is to give them enough good things to say. And that's where superior experience is coming. Now I'm going to show you guys some of our design work as well, because I told you we're a design agency. We do really good design, in my opinion. So we worked with paper and plastics company. We decided to make them look international because they were going into export. We did some work with Nestle. This is Nestle HR. This is Nescafe. And one company I'm very proud of, because when we just started out, they trusted us, trusted our vision. We moved this company that had already rebranded like 6 years ago into their new era, because they realized, and our brand research confirmed it, that their strongest differentiator was not price, because they were more expensive than everyone. It was customer service and education, and we leaned into those things. And leaning into those things, we've actually gotten much more feedback from our clients. Clients responding on emails that have nothing to do with us, saying, hey, today's service was amazing. Please tell all your staff that I had a great time and I'll be back. So the work works, the work drives profit, and those are my few words. Thank you all for having me here.
Questions, comments, feedback?
Question: are you limiting your business to just Jamaica? Can you take clients anywhere?
I'm here to look for clients in the US, people that are in alignment with us and our vision.
So, was curious because on your first slide, it seems like you offer quite a few different services. So, do you think you will be better off narrowing them down, or did you intentionally expand to keep customers longer yourself?
Well, yeah. So what we initially started with the aim of being just a design agency because we're really good at design. And then I had a sit down with my mentor. And he said, how do you think the agency that works with Apple works? Like, yes, they did some ads with them in the 80s, but they've expanded the scope of their relationship and they've been partners. So now they sit on Apple's board. And I was like, but we have all these skill sets. And speaking to our clients, we realized that initially we were offering like a 3-month engagement. So we come in, we do some branding, and then maybe we do a retainer. People were actually apprehensive about that. When we started going in and say, hey, we'll work with you for a year, they were like, okay, we know that business changes take time. We need a partner that will be there for at least a year with the potential for renewal. So we added the business development, realizing that operations does also drive branding.
Awesome. Great presentation. Hey, I'm curious. So in speaking with several of you, I have heard that everybody's got a central challenge over this month while you're here. What is your central challenge?
Scaling and expansion, because we need a team that believes in the vision that we do. We have to find the right people. So it's really a scaling and expansion challenge that's rooted in talent.
When you're initially going to get new customers, which one of your services or how do you offer your services? Is it a set, or do you go, we're a branding agency and then we have these other things?
So what we normally do, we'll go in and we'll do an assessment and we'll be like, hey, what do you think about this process that you have? And they'll be like, oh, we've had problems with this for a very long period of time, like, but no one has ever pointed that out. And I was like, let's have a conversation. And then in having the conversation, one, we find out if there's alignment, because I've been in meetings before where our services and what the client needs don't align, and we just refer them to someone else. But most of the time, in digging deep and finding the pain points, there are areas of alignment that either need operation support or branding support.
My question, who's excluded from the career code? Who's excluded from the career code, or can others join?
Others can join.
Okay, thank you.
Use my teacher voice. No, I was curious about.
Gotta go in the microphone.
Oh, for online, sorry. So I was curious about, you spoke about having employees who want to stay and really believe and stay. I have noticed, and in my experience, there's a pattern where people don't leave because what they're working on is awful or good. I mean, or both. They leave because it's part of what keeps them sort of agile and up to date with other things. And I've noticed that as a pattern of how those things work. And in fact, sometimes staying at a place longer than 3 years is looked at as, what's wrong? So I was curious about what your thoughts are about that, or if that's something you haven't thought about.
I have thought about it, and there are two ways I look at it. So what I say to some clients is that you're hiring ambitious people. These people are going to leave. So what you need to do is invest in them for the season that they're here, so that they'll go and evangelize. But for other clients, I said, look, if your team wants to stay here, please don't keep the person in the same spot for all of their career. What you do is, as someone at the top moves away, you move the next person below them up, and you hire at the lowest level. And I've found that works in, well, team engagement, but also ensuring that those ambitious people, if they do want to stay, they still have a new challenge.
Awesome. So Jean-Pierre, you get your very own notebook and magic mug.
Awesome.
So with this magic mug comes the same question we ask everybody, which is, how can our community, what can people do here that will help either you or Brand House? Like, what will move the needle?
What will move the needle is helping us with our U.S. market entry.
What's the easiest or most effective way to do that, you think?
Well, I'm sure you guys know people in your network who have a similar alignment, who know that customer experiences can drive growth, and those are the people I'd want to talk to first.
What's the best way for folks to connect to you if they have some of those folks?
Well, I'm on LinkedIn, but you can reach me at jacob@brandhouse.studio. We are a branding agency, so we got a really cool domain. I'm available at WhatsApp at that number as well.
Awesome. Let's give Jean-Pierre one more big round of applause. Okay, well, thanks everybody for being here. A busy day at 1 Million Cups. Cool to see so many different folks. Felicia, thanks for bringing the YLA Fellows. And to each of you for being here. Sometimes it's a little scary to stand up front and share. If you haven't done it before, you're welcome to apply. We've got a website, 1 Million Cups. Well, that's one too, 1millioncups.com or 1MCSLC. So if you're interested to apply to present, you can hop in there. And thanks again to our friends at Underbelly for hosting us and having us in this wonderful space. Stick around, connect. If you didn't get a chance to ask a question, you have time. I think Mike will be here. He's still here. And then the fellows are here. So thanks everybody for being here. If you would, stack a chair next to you. It'll give us a little bit more space. I'll move the chairs out of the way, but there's a bit more coffee and, yep, have a good week. Thanks.